This is gonna be one of those videos that I look back on and watch and cringe a little bit. You guys might laugh at, and hopefully we all learn a little something. So stay tuned. We're here to talk about social media and things not to do. Three or 4 months ago, we decided that we were gonna start pushing aggressively on TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube, Twitter and LinkedIn as well, but to a lesser extent. And we were gonna try to grow those channels to try to provide just free financial literacy. Well, it turns out most of you don't like free financial literacy. It's boring. So we mixed in some celebrity content to talk about homes in the real estate market and try to crossbreed information. You guys get a little bit of celebrity content, a little bit of education, and at the same time, we talk about cool, relevant things that are happening. That turned out to be a great cocktail for things like TikTok, which has grown some viral videos in the last couple months. We've done some pretty good organic growth, going from 0 followers to about 4,000 followers as the date of this video. We have, however, made some significant mistakes as it relates to Instagram along the way, and I'm gonna tell you all about them. One of the things that we did before we started hiring the content team that is putting together these videos for us today is I worked with an agency that was supposed to place me in PR in media-based places, websites, print media, whatever it might be. And I paid them a retainer, hired them for services rendered, and that got us to a little bit of a problem that we'll discuss later. Subsequent to that, we also hired somebody for growth. And in the growth, that was supposed to be a certain number of followers on Instagram within a bland, big window of time. And they were gonna use shout outs, they were gonna use all sorts of different vehicles in order to get us growth. And we thought, okay, well, we know that social media is a pay-to-play game, at least that's what the rhetoric is. Let's go ahead and try this. And we spent a lot of money doing that. Well, both those moves were wrong. Let me tell you about why. One of the things we looked at from our account's perspective was to try to figure out what our engagement level was. And after several comments in the post where I'm trying to educate people on the post that they're now critiquing or commenting on, whether that's, the political unrest around the moratoriums and evictions, and there was a lot of back and forth in those posts, I start commenting back to people. Some people get angry and they start saying, hey, you're fake, you're a guru, you're all these things, because there's nobody responding to your post. I actually learned something in my own comments, and by doing that, that put us on a quest to try to look at the analytics. And the analytics came back and we suck. So we've decided to fix the problem, be honest about it, and move forward. But in order to fix the problem, sometimes you have to look in the mirror and accept that you made some strategic mistakes along the way. Mistake number 1, we hired a growth service when we should have planned on growing solely organically based on the quality of our content. I still believe we put out great content. That growth service used bots for likes, it used followers that were not real, and because of that, our engagement level was so low. An aggregate engagement score or a verifiable score of below 50, actually in the low 20s, which in aggregate, for those of you who know, means that I suck. I've got effectively no reputation and I'm a terrible person. So those comments may have actually been true. Our account is not real on Instagram. While approximately 10,000 of the 70,000 followers appear to be real, legitimate followers, the rest of them, we're gonna have to overcome. Because the problem with that is the Instagram algorithm knows those things to be true. And as a result of it, that means that our account's gonna get less engagement because of the illegitimacy of the account. It's a huge hurdle. We could delete the account and start over, but we made this hole, we dug this ditch, we're gonna get into it and we're gonna dig our way out of it. Also, at the same time, I made another strategic mistake, which again, this is an early rookie mistake, is we paid for this PR. Well, the PR services that were given to us were not exactly the highest caliber product. And as a result of following in line of what we thought worked for all these influencers and fake gurus trying to leverage their same platforms to launch a campaign against them in good old-fashioned good advice in financial literacy, well, those platforms have no engagement. As a matter of fact, have bad reputations on top of it. So now some of those comments about us being guru-like or having some of those bad behaviors, well, those are true. We do have things in common as it relates to marketing and advertising sources. So enough with the shenanigans. We put a stop to all of that. It was a very expensive lesson and one that's going to take us some time to remediate. So how do we fix it? The first thing we do is we're going to rebrand the Instagram account. TikTok's working fine, YouTube's working fine, but we're going to rebrand Instagram to up the quality content, and we're going to scale back posts. Another rookie mistake that we were making is we were posting every single day, multiple times a day. Similar to what we do on TikTok, where you post 2-3 times a day, and that Constant production of quantity and a little bit of quality mixed together will generally get you a viral video or two, and it happens organically because their algorithm is significantly different than the algorithm over at Instagram. So we're going to scale back those posts to 3 times a week. Hopefully that'll allow us to engage real people who see fresh content, as well as keep our engagement level up on average per post. We're still going to keep posting in the stories and keep engaging on a daily basis there, but we're going to really focus on bringing quality versus quantity to the Instagram story. Another part of the rebrand is we're changing the aesthetic. One of the things that I made a mistake, a fatal flaw in doing, was we wanted to keep an aesthetic that was similar to other people in the space who we were trying to combat. So if your local guru used a format, we very similarly took that format and made it something that we could give you good education, because we thought that's what people were used to seeing. So we'll give them what they're used to seeing, but with good, real, solid, grounded advice. Well, the problem with that is you kind of drown out a little bit. So we're also rebranding the aesthetic moving forward. I'm still going to keep all the old content there, but what we're going to do is continue to build on that with a fresh, clean look that'll hopefully differentiate us from everybody else out there and build up that brand recognition over time. One of the things we've also done is we've gone back and deleted poor performing content and some of the stuff before we started this channel, where the Instagram is solely based off of my personality and my family life. Those are somewhat irrelevant. Instagram is essentially a living business card now, and we want to make sure that everybody gets the content that they want to engage with. Otherwise, there's no value to us doing this, and we spend a lot of time, money, and energy doing it. On the PR side, we're going to stop all of that and we're going to focus on quality PR work. There's lots of things that we do that are very good. You're going to see some stuff coming out in the next couple months in the form of podcasts, which have great SEO, great resonance with audiences, and it gives me an opportunity to really speak from the heart and tell people what I do and don't know, and explain to them a little bit about my journey and who I am. And hopefully these things will combine to come up with some pretty significant changes to the way engagement works on Instagram. It's been a massive learning curve for me and frankly for our team. This is not something that comes naturally to me, and this is not something that I could claim that I knew very well about. We all use these platforms, but weaponizing them and using them for a purpose is a very, very different thing. And one of the things I'll tell you is, whether you love or hate these online gurus, or you love or hate people who have these grow these massive social followings, you have to respect the time, energy, and money that goes into these things. It is not easy. For just what little we do, it takes a schedule of recording and filming and time going into it. We put together a schedule. We know when we post, we know how we post, and we know where we post, and we know how to recycle content to get the maximized use out of it. If we do something on YouTube, we carve that up and we can use it on TikTok, we can use it on Instagram. If we do something that's a podcast, we can use that in other places as well in a very similar fashion. And it allows us this flexibility, but you have to plan ahead, which means my vacations with my family, my time spent with family, it's all planned around that. So as much as people would love to hate people out there that consider themselves these fake and false people, you have to respect the fact that a little bit of that is them putting a tremendous amount of energy and time into those things. And we've learned that time and money are not things you can get back. So if you're going to invest them, do them right. Don't lose money like we did. If somebody hits you up on social media or comes to you saying they work with a famous brand name person, here's a cold reality a little nugget that I picked up along the way. Really successful people in the social media game sign NDAs, non-disclosure agreements, which means they cannot and should not tell you the people that they work with. They have to have a portfolio of products and businesses and services that you can recognize, and they must have very, very, very good character references. But simply because they have a big account or they have lots of people that they have as past clients does not in fact mean they are right for you. Everybody we worked with, everybody who took us down the wrong path was somebody with high net worth celebrity clients who we verified actually worked with them. But the difference is night and day when you work with a pro. We've been hooked up recently with a professional team, and the results of those conversations have taken us to a professional level that we frankly didn't experience before. Me personally, I'm blown away by the amount of thought, energy, and time that goes into something as simple as the hashtags in your post, and about the timing of your post, about the aesthetic of your post, about how your page looks in aggregate. These things are all strategically calculated and prepared in advance and over time. The social media game is not as simple as we all take it for. It's easy to be a keyboard warrior and be a troll and take shots at people, but there's a lot of science and a lot of psychology behind these things. And I can tell you, we've learned a lot, and now we're gonna make the changes going forward. So if you see me out there, anything that I've done that may not be on the world's greatest website, or it might not be the world's best article, keep in mind that a lot of people are using those for alternative means. So I'll give you a great example before I leave and end this thing, because it's been long and painful, I'm sure, for all those out there. The first and foremost thing is people want to get verified on social media. How do you do that? You need, quote, notoriety. They want to make sure that somebody isn't imitating you, and you have to be notable in order for that to be the case. So what do? They create articles on websites that get zero engagement, that are frankly similar sounding to other websites that are really, really, really well known. Then they submit your content through a portal to Instagram, or perhaps even TikTok if they have a back way into that, to get you verified as a notable person, citing those many articles. And sadly, that actually works. Ever wonder why somebody you have no idea who is, or looks like a complete phony or fake, or perhaps the last YouTube star has a blue check next to their name? Well, the reason is they went through one of those services, and it's a pay-to-play gray area market that frankly doesn't necessarily mean anything. I'm not saying the blue check marks aren't valuable, they're not worth it. I'm just saying be cautious, because not all good people have those, and not all people who have them are a traditional celebrity. Some of them are in the business of being known, and that was enough for them to pay the money and do all that work on those frankly less than reputable websites to get it. We've been out there on some of those things. We've made a mistake. We're moving forward. Look to see changes in our social media path. If you have questions, please reach out, ask all of them that you have. I'll give you all the answers that I've come up with. Again, I'm not an expert, but we've learned a lot. Hopefully this video teaches you a little bit about social media, things to look for and be cautious about when you're interacting with somebody on social media. And remember, if nothing else, I screwed up. It's okay if you screwed up. Learn, live, move forward, be positive. That's all for this week. Thank you so much. Like, subscribe, comment. Let's interact.